done a lot of different things as a painter and with music, and I've always hesitated to combine the two. But this year I've decided that it was a time for me to, like my hero Salvador Dali, to realize that you cannot create art, you can't be an artist unless you are your own art. And it's very, for me as an American, to come to Mexico, the Day of the Dead, which in America we have Halloween, which it's completely not similar anyway. And for me, I can't dress up like anything on Halloween. It's just I dress up like myself. But Day of the Dead is very different because it looks at things the way that I do. It's the cycle of life. Death is not a negative thing. Death is not something ugly or destructive. It's part of life. You can't avoid it. It is. There's nothing about it that isn't natural. So I think this is a great honor for me, especially to be in this completely amazing place that I haven't had a chance to even look at. It's very prestigious. It's a great honor for me as an artist. The artworks that I selected aren't necessarily specifically an exact representation of everything that I do, but I thought that they were ones that would fit particularly well with this day and this theme.
Wonderful. And would you like to tell us about the title of your exhibition, The Path of Misery? It's interesting because we didn't translate it to Spanish.
The lava.
Yes, I know.
The shrubs. It's like a rapist lurking in the shrubs. Okay, back to The Path of Misery. Well, if some people may have seen, it's on MarilynManson.com. My new album is called Born Villain, but I've stopped thinking of things in the simple sense of an album. And in the past, I got caught in what I would like to think is not a bad period, but a period of limitation as an artist. And I made a short film of sorts, or it's a trailer, or it's not a music video, but the score for it is a song. It is called Overneath the Path of Misery. And I think that if anything, the paintings that I exhibited are, road stops, sightseeing visits on my path of not being in a bad place. So the path of misery is not meant to be that I'm miserable. It's meant to be that I've overcome that. And this year is a year of me rebuilding myself as an artist, not simply as a musician or a painter, or I'm not much of a dancer, but as a filmmaker, whatever it might be. And I think Born Villain, is the name of my record. And it really exemplifies everything that I represent, and that's what I had to do, was to get back to the sensibility. I go back to the sound or the style or anything like that I started with, but the sensibility, the reckless abandon, the disregard for rules and conventions, which is what defines an artist, someone who is not afraid to create something that did not exist before. That's where expressionism comes from. Someone one day decided that I'm not going to paint the sky blue, and that's something we take for granted. Someone one day thought that I will sign a urinal, Marcel Duchamp, and we wouldn't be here, we wouldn't have the same sensibility if it weren't for that. And I have a respect for the masters. I think modern art is very yesterday. I think that there's something about, if you can put a guitar in front of someone, you can put a paintbrush in front of someone, you can put a knife in front of someone, if you can create something with the limitations that you have, that's the definition of an artist. So I'm very honored to be here for that.
And could you tell us when you started painting?
Well, I think my first celebrated painting was when I was in Christian school. I had an award in the yearbook, and I was painting a heavy metal album cover with acrylics. And I never really considered myself a painter. I always wanted to be someone who did pen and ink. I wanted to be an illustrator, or I wanted to be a cartoon artist. And that sort of faded away. But then I thought about it again, and it didn't really fade away because all of my first flyers that I passed out, handwritten that I made, I drew them myself, so I passed them out myself. And it's almost in the same way that now, you know, the street art, like Shepherd Fair and things like that, are celebrated as art. And I realized that as a metaphor, I was making art and putting it on cars myself, windshields, to get people to come see me perform music. And I didn't understand why now, looking back, I wasn't selling the art itself, and I was just trying to sell the music. And my father was a salesman, and I always wanted to be in advertisement. I think it's all a combination, but I think most of it is about being a journalist, about being someone who looks at the world, says their opinion. You express it how you want. For me, I can express it in music, and when I can't, I express it in art. And you know, it's a tough call for me because I don't think a lot of painters would consider me a conventional watercolor artist. And I'm pretty sure most singers would consider me a conventional singer. So I picked up a microphone the same way I did a paintbrush, and I like the ability to limit it to the simple idea of creativity. You have an idea and you want to make it. The fact that people are interested in it makes me feel like that's the whole point. That's the whole reason why you do it. You're trying to communicate with someone else. You're trying to get it across a point. And that's, you know, it's not about technique or medium. It's just about creativity. We live in an age where everyone has an iPhone, everyone has an app that they can push a button and make it look like Liechtenstein or Warhol or whatever they want it to be. But you can create something with your hands and it moves somebody. Or you can create it with your iPhone. It doesn't matter what you create it with. The fact that it's the content, it's the emotion. That to me is what it's about being an artist for me. No, that's good.